And I think I did it yesterday, but I'm going to do it again today. If you all don't know who I am, or you're here for the very first time, I am Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the priestess of purpose, pleasure, and passion, and profits. And I am not affectionately known as the Rev Coach, but I have many names. But in the marketplace, I'm known as Latanya Taylor. So this is day 3 of our Replenish Revival. And just to give you context, if you're here for the very first day, when I say day 3, I'm saying that we are closing out the final week of a process that I created that's available in my app, Rebirth 360. And it was a process that paid attention to the time and the season that we're in and the one that we're going into. And we used Rest is Resistance as our book to be a resource. In addition to that, I had some journal prompts to take you through yourself and to really take you into the process. So what I had offered, if you're in my tribe, which again, membership has its privileges. If you're in my tribe, I offered for the tribe members to let me know if they wanted to receive a reading, because tonight I'm going to start off with a little story time first. And then you can jump on and tell me how this relates to you. I'm going to just double check to see if anybody put their name in the hat to be first up. But if not, you have free dibs, those of you who are here. And I want you to experience a Rhema with me tonight, okay? And see what message comes through for you. So let me give you some context to make all of this make sense. Alafia, my love. Alafia. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Hotep for some people. Happy New Year to everyone. So what I want to share is a story time, because we're talking about passion as replenishment today. Passion as replenishment. So I think somebody already joined in to request to come on. And so I'm going to get you just as soon as I get through this story time. And if I don't get you, just make sure you remind me. I want to build off of passion as replenishment for this day. Okay. And I want you to do a check with yourself to see if you feel that you still have passion for what you're currently doing, what your contribution is in the world. Let me tell you a quick story as we build tonight. So we were working, right? I think we were on break or had just finished the season of Fix My Life, or some in-between space of Fix My Life. Y'all know that show on the OWN network, huh? You know that little show on the OWN network. And my mentor asked me a question about my passion, because I absolutely fell in love with the way we told stories for you all to be able to digest them into your own personal work. It was definitely a new level of mastery of the craft of coaching. And so we were on, and I was just in love with it. And I had gotten some really positive feedback about the producing and the creative and that type of thing. But, you know, people knew that I already had built a business and a brand. So anyway, my mentor asked me one time, what are you really passionate about? He said, I know you're good at this. I know you do this. And I know you do that. And you want people in your life to ask you questions that stop you in your tracks. You want people in your life to ask you questions that stop you in your tracks. It stopped me. Because we can be good at something but not passionate about it. And so every night we've started with the foundational principles of rebirth, which is purpose. Purpose is a big one for everybody. A lot of people talk about purpose. Okay. So it's not probably anything new. And that doesn't mean that a person knows it any more than they did when they got their degree. But, or you know better because you have spent your life doing something that you aren't passionate about. So purpose is a big one. It is foundational to my work around visioning and that type of thing. Then there's pleasure. We talked about pleasure last night, which is another foundation or pillar of the rebirth work. I see myself freezing on YouTube. So pleasure is foundational, another pillar of the rebirth work. Y'all still with me? Come on, give me a heart. Let me know you here. Let me know you in the room. And so pleasure is medicine for a feminine woman, for a woman that's building a business in her through her feminine, because just to be in business as an entrepreneur, it is a masculine energy. So that is why a lot of our young millionaires or budding millionaires, blooming millionaires are at war with themselves. And this is why some of us Generation Xers have also been in between our own happiness and getting the bag and finding our center again, if I could speak for Generation X. So you combine purpose and pleasure in the formula I use to teach. Check this out. If you combine purpose and pleasure in the formula that I use to teach, it should equal your passion. Now, I don't like to shoot on you or anything, but even when my mentor asked me the question, he did not shoot on me. And I loved when my mentors, coaches ask a question that I have to digest a little bit. And even after I answered him, I wasn't quite satisfied with my answer. I felt like it should just flow a little bit more. You know what I mean? You all know what I mean? Let me know if you understand where I'm going, or at least you know what I mean, because you know your life, right? And you see me looking down because I'm going to grab what I did, the questions that I'm going to ask today. But when he asked me that, I paused and I thought about it. I know my purpose, right? I know I'm here to teach. I've always known that I'm an educator, that I'm a teacher. I used to play teacher when I was a little girl growing up. So I was clear about purpose, clear about this work that I call ministry as a metaphysician. What you all call ministry, I should say. I never wanted to call it ministry because ministry has too many connotations. Ministry has too many boxes that people put you in, especially if all you're around is people who've known traditional stuff. And so I talked about resistance in the last 2 days as well. So I'll be honest and open, I've been resistant about this ministry, minister, title, pastor, reverend, all of that, even though I own the reverend part of it now. And then goes as far as to become an Olarisha, a priestess in the tradition. So I knew that I was passionate about that part. But what it did for me was the question, because Iyanla always taught us that the answer lives in the same room as the question. The answer lives in the same room as the question. And I knew that it was sitting in me, that sometimes one of the feminine ways, arts, is to let a question sit in you. Because when you're traditionally trained by the West, you tend to always need to have an answer right then. And or we're so used to responding so quickly back to something that sometimes things aren't sitting in us long enough for it to reveal. So we respond from our intellect, not from our soul, not from our heart. So my heart began to speak to me, and I thought about the things that I was passionate about, and sometimes your passion will be your vocation. Sometimes your passion will be your avocation. Do we know the difference and the distinction? Come on, I want y'all to talk back to me. I don't want this to be a revival where you come in and you get a word. You got that finger in the air and I'm coming to get a word. No, 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 no. I want this to be a little bit more interactive tonight because we've been using guidance material the whole night as our whole process as our rhema. So do you feel what? Let me know give me some feedback in the comments if you're with me. So as I thought about those things that I was passionate about, and I would lean sometimes on my avocation versus the vocation. See, okay, good, thank you. I appreciate someone on YouTube said I don't know the difference. Your avocation is attached to your calling. It's the ava, and I love going into a little bit of the A's and the A tone, and it's the at one man and the power of the A, the letter A. But then I'd start getting into more than a conversation, and then I start quickening into something else. So your vocation is something that you just do. Just like I said, you do something well, but it's not necessarily what you were put here to do. What you were put on the planet to do. There's a distinction between the avocation and the vocation. And something you can be passionate about one and not so passionate about the other. Sometimes even with your avocation, the thing that you're put here to do, you're called to do, that might not be how you get your money. Oh God, I know I'm walking heavy for some people, because if you are Generation X, sometimes we put so much weight on the avocation, the thing we're called to do, to be the thing that gives us money. That's why you have so many broke coaches and begging ministers and dangerous babalaos and diviners. Your vocation can be how you make your money. We already know that we ought to have more than one stream of income, particularly for those of us who look at where we are generationally. We're still catching up, and we're so far behind in terms of the collective consciousness, even in our relationship with money. By the time we jump into an industry and we're using the internet now, we're 3 years behind. Most people have gone in, gotten their money off the top. By the time we get it, we think we're on to something, and then we want to keep it all to ourselves. Don't get me started about cooperative economics that we are afraid to do, and we are the ones that need it the most. So your avocation and your vocation sometimes can one can be dormant, one can be active, one can be inactive, but how can they complement one another? So I was more clear on my avocation and less clear on all of the things that I was passionate about, because my avocation, it was something that was so mixed into what I was doing. And when I started working on Fix My Life and doing the production, I fell in love with an art and an expression in another way, and I found a passion. So this is where you hear me talking to people about being multi-purpose, being a multi-purpose entrepreneur, because I know that there are some people who live by the gospel of the niche. But when you're working with empaths and highly sensitive people and artists and creatives, oftentimes this is a great example of a population where your avocation could be people, but you need to do something else. You might be doing services that is not sustaining you, and it's okay. So can I just tell you, I wish that somebody had told me that it was okay, because I had coaches that would put a lot of pressure on me at one point to quit my job, just quit my job. And then I spent years judging myself because I didn't quit my job, because I knew I was called to something else. And I wasn't doing my passion and living in my passion. I was in my vocation. Come on now. Am I talking to myself? And so how many of you know what your purpose is, but you're not necessarily walking in it and living in it. And so you really don't even have room to know what your passion is, or you knew what your passion was, but you had to survive. Am I talking to myself? I still don't know. Y'all got to talk back to me. Y'all scared to come on for a reading now? So we're talking today in this revival, in these first few days, in this year of the 7, the universal year of the 7. The universal year of the 7 is going to force you to be in the room with the questions that you have in your soul and in your spirit. And if you don't, or to put yourself in proximity to program and process and mentors and or coaches or counselors or therapists that will support you in doing the work, being around friends that are growing forth and not just gossiping for something or somebody else. Thank you for the honest answers, okay? So when we look at this, when it's hard enough sometimes for Black women to accept pleasure as a vortex to enter in, to create and attract and milk the juices of it. Oh yeah. And so we certainly have not always gotten to what our passion is. I want to give you permission tonight to consider passion, especially in this universal year of the 7. Consider it by choice instead of by force. So anyway, I was doing story time. What's up, Don Kalam? How you doing, brother? Peace to all of the gods and the goddesses that came on or coming on. I appreciate you being here. Happy New Year to you. So listen, when my mentor asked that question, it was good, right? And you all know I just came out of a year of sitting down and taking my rites of passage and going through a process, a clarifying process. And new answers emerged, reminders emerged for me about these things. I want that to happen for you too. And so when he asked me that question, sometimes he would ask me in many different ways in another conversation. Sometimes a mentor has a way of asking you the same thing a different way because your conscious mind wouldn't even let it come in. There's unconscious blocks. And you can tell and know when a question makes you squirm a little bit. So I want to ask you some questions, and then whoever wants to come online live, you have to be on IG Live. I don't know how to add you on the YouTube side tonight. Let me get this caller together for the video. You know, this may be timeless for later, and somebody want to make a meme about my collar. This kind of stuff you got to think about now. But anywho, here's the questions I want to ask you as well tonight. And I posted this in our tribe, so you had a little advance time to look at this, but I absolutely love this quote. This is our reference tonight. And I'm still going to do a Rhema out of rest is resistance by Trisha Hershey. This quote is by Gabrielle Roth, and it asks, in many shamanic societies, if you came to the medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, they would ask one of 4 questions. When did you stop dancing? Come on now. When did you stop singing? Ouch, amen. When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the sweet territory of silence? My friends, I propose to you, that's that's a passion conversation. That's a revival, a personal revival that you can allow yourself to have this year, in this year of the 7th. And so I'm not going to even be long on this. Did you feeling that? How many of you all felt that? Anybody want me to read it again? My sister Elise said, passion as a vortex. Yes, please. My door is open. My other sister says, and her title on YouTube is Making the Art of Love. She says, yes, on accepting pleasure as a vortex. What about you? Anybody else accepting pleasure as a vortex? Anybody else accepting passion as a vortex? Anybody else? Read it one more time. I knew there was somebody, and I could feel it in the room. Somebody wanted me to read it one more time. In many shamanic societies, if you came to the medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, they would ask one of 4 questions. When did you stop dancing? Tanya. When, Tanya? When did you stop singing, Tanya? That hit different when I throw your name in there, huh? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the territory of silence? And that is what I suggest for all of you. Thank you, Tanya, for asking me to read it again. Listen, put your name in there. Put your name on the front end, or put your name on the back end. When did you stop? And so some of us don't know the answer, because have you lost your passion for the things that you're pursuing? Or did you even ever have it? Because most of us just have survival, a muscle for survival. Some of us have a muscle to get into the comfort zone. I just need to be comfortable. So I'm going to read from, I want somebody to pick a number between 100 and 160. I know that's big. 165. 100 and 165. We're going to do it in the group, and then if anybody wants to come on and get a custom rhema for you, a message for you. All right, 123. Come on, 123. We doing this together. Okay, I might take those other numbers that are coming up in here. Okay, all right. Woo, okay, so listen, let's go with 123. And this is from Rest is Resistance. This is our second rhema for tonight. I want us to understand that nuance is freeing and freedom. There's no such thing as cookie cutter healing. Oucha, amen. Everyone brings with them an origin story, a history, and identities that are interconnected. There is room to rest in the freedom of managing your own deprogramming journey. Wow. There is room to rest in the freedom of managing your own deprogramming journey. It is never either or, and always both and. Now, how many of you all heard me teach that before? The power of both and. Somebody put both and in the chat like you in church, because I can't hear you say amen. I can't hear you say ouch. You don't have to grind, hustle, accept burnout as normal, and be in a constant state of exhaustion and sleep deprivation. You don't have to kill yourself spiritually or physically to live a fruitful life. Come on, passion. This connection work is about restoring, remembering, reimagining, reclaiming, reparations. Come on, reparations and redemption. Learning to make a way out of no way. And seeing to the other side of trauma. Seeing to the other side of trauma. It is believing you are worthy of rest because you are alive. Our bodies and our souls want to be well, to heal, to be rested, to be free from the old productivity, the hold productivity, has had over our lives. We are worthy of rest, care, and space. We are worthy of living in a place that respects our bodies for what they are, a divine dwelling. Wasn't that Rhema good? Is that good to anybody out there? Oh, that was good to me. And this is why I love this book. I love the language of this book. I love the references of the book. And I loved building these journal prompts in the replenish process. Okay. So I want to show you how spirit will speak to you. Is there someone who wants to come on live? I think I have a message request. Well, Big Baba, no, this not so much, okay? But Susan, come on, let's see if you, because you must have put your name in the chat. I accepted you to come on live. And guess what, YouTube? You'll just have to listen. YouTube. All right. Hey, beautiful. I love your brave soul. You always, you make sure that you get at the front of the line. I love that about you. Thank you. All right, so we're on with Susan. And so tonight, Susan, we're going to let you do a Rhema tonight between 1 and 10. Choose number. 144. Between 1 and 10? Oh, 1 and 10. 4. Okay. Woo-hoo. So here's what Spirit is saying to you. She chose 4. And here's what Spirit is saying to you tonight. And you confirm whether this message is for you or not. The message comes from the law of non-resistance. So what are you asking the universe around passion? My awareness. Awareness of what your passion is. Okay. That if it's in the chair, it's in the room. So that's probably present for somebody watching or somebody that will watch. She's asking for awareness of what her passion is. And here's the message from the law of non-resistance. Now, isn't that ironic that our book is Rest is Resistance as one of our references? And you pulled tonight something from the law of non-resistance. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Ooh, I can't wait. Nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. The Chinese say that the water is the most powerful element because it is perfectly non-resistant. It can wear away a rock and sweep it all before it. And then there's an old legend that Adam and Eve ate of the Maya, the tree of illusion, and saw 2 powers instead of 1 God. Therefore, evil is a false law people have made for themselves. Ooh, through psychoma and soul sleep. Ooh, is that good to you, YouTube? Soul sleep means that a society's soul has been hypnotized by the belief in sin, sickness, and death. That is carnal or mortal thought, and their affairs have outpictured their illusions. Their affairs has outpictured their illusions. We have read in a preceding chapter that society's soul is their subconscious mind, and whatever is felt deeply, good or bad, is outpictured by the faithful servant. A woman's body and affairs show forth what she has been picturing. The sick woman has pictured sickness. The poor woman has pictured poverty. The rich woman has pictured wealth. People often ask, why does a child attract illness when it's too young even to know what that means? And I answer that children are sensitive and receptive to thoughts of others about them and often outpicture the fears of their parents. So in this, we see the great law of transmutation founded on non-resistance. Though Through his spoken word, every failure was transmuted into success. And she gives all these examples. So I'm going to stop. How does that resonate with you?
Yes.
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 Okay. You want to say more than yes? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, like throughout this whole season, it was a big part of my fears. Where I resisted everything, and now I'm really I'm leaving the past behind, and I'm moving on, and I feel better. I do have bad days, but for the most part, I'm not resisting, and it's okay. Like everything seems new.
I can relate to that coming out of my year in white. Have you seen me? Have you seen me post about how everything is new? That's been my affirmation. I have to actually remind myself because everybody thinks that they're seeing LaTanya, and they don't know that, but they haven't seen Adefun. So it's not their responsibility to see the new. It's me who goes into the room that has to remember they see LaTanya, but something else is walking in me. Something else is walking with me. Something else walked through me. You feel me? Y'all feel me? She's raising her hand. So that's confirmation even for me. I'm so glad you came on. Thank you, my love.
What's going on? Because I don't know this whole setup.
Yeah, well, you did it. You did it. So now all you have to do is hang up because I don't know this. Let me see. Do I know how to let you go? Isn't that a trip? I think you hit the X up there for yourself.
Okay, won't take me off of this, right?
It should take you out of the room. If not, you just come back in.
Okay.
All right. So who else wants to get on and get some of this work tonight? Get your Rhema. And I hope that story time was helpful to you all because again, I'm asking, have you lost the taste for the sweet part of what it is that you're doing? Because if not, this is the season to have your personal revival with answering those questions and moving toward it. Because when you're doing what you love, the money does follow. Even if it doesn't, if you're doing what you love, it doesn't always have to be the thing that supplies your need. Yeah, come on, Holy Spirit. Come on, ancestors. You can be doing what you love and that might, but you can be doing your vocation in another way. Sometimes we think we have to sacrifice the other. Anybody else want to come on live with me? I did offer in the tribe first. That's why it's good to be connected and have your notifications on so you could just jump on live. Hey everybody, Lottie Dottie and everybody. I'm calling for one more. Anybody on YouTube you want to come on live? I think I could figure out how to send you the link. Okay. So since you might be shy, then I'll just ask YouTube, is there anybody that wants to put your name in the chat and then you get a reading that way? Because it'll still be your energy that's calling it forth. We'll be partners together in this. Come on. Anybody want to put your name in the chat? Or Instagram, you can just come on live. And if too shy. And by the way, today's reading came from the Game of Life for Women and How to Play it. So I'm going to close out if I don't see any more names pop in. Just encouraging us to okay. I figured there's folks who say I can't come on camera. That's okay. You could just put your name in the chat. No worries. If you want to pick a number, and I'm still going to close out with this one because I know it's going to be good because resistance led the way first in terms of response for everybody. So Choose a number, Tanya, between 1 and 10. Choose a number between 1 and 10. Okay. All right, Tanya, I'm waiting on. Okay. Choose a number between 1 and 10. 7. Okay. All right. So what are you asking about your passion? What's the question? This is the only way you're going to know if the answer is resonated and designated for you. What's your question about passion? Earth Mother Creations, you can put your question in about passion too. And a number. No worries about being camera ready. Just let answer about what is your question about passion. I need Tanya to answer first, and then you can answer, or you go on and answer, and I'll take whoever puts their question in. But you got to put a number in. Earth Mother Creations. All right, Laquita, put the question here. Your question about passion. Same thing. Whoever does both, the number and the question that you're asking, because it has to be relevant to you. I already got that you chose 7. What do you want to know about passion? Laquita, you can do the same thing. Put a number and what you want to know. Come on, y'all. We're moving too slow. Okay. All right. Got it. So that helps me to make sure that I bring that energy into here. So you chose number 7, and your message is coming from love, the law of love. And it says every woman on this planet is taking her initiation in love. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another. Opensky states in the Tertullian Origandum that love is a cosmic phenomena and opens the 4th dimensional world, the world of the wondrous. Real love is selfless and free from fear. Real love pours itself out upon the object of its affection without demanding any in return. Its joy is in the joy of giving. God is love in manifestation and the strong magnetic force in the universe. Pure unselfish love draws itself its own. It does not need, seek, or demand. Scarcely anyone has faintest conception of real love. When people are selfish, tyrannical, or fearful in their affections, they lose the thing that they love. How many of us have built marriages on and vows on tyrannical vows, and if you do this to me, then I'm gonna do this? So most of us have known conditional love. If you don't mind, if I can talk through this. Jealousy is the worst enemy of love, for the imagination runs riot, seeing the loved one attracted to another, and invariably these fears objectify if they are not neutralized. Okay, so she gives an example, and I'll try to hurry up here. A woman came to me in deep distress. The one she loved, she called him the cap because he was a captain, had left her for someone else. Now, listen, I don't want you to think that, I know that when you say, you have around doing what you love, that there's so many types of love, but hear it anyway, because sometimes we are torn between our avocation and our vocation, like two lovers. Sometimes we're multi-passionate entrepreneurs, multi-passionate projects, and they're still like two lovers, or like two children and babies. And you all know the parable of the baby having to be put on the altar and say, okay, because the parents were fighting over. I don't know, my spirit just leaped to give that particular part of the word for you, if you don't mind, just so we don't, because sometimes we can be so literal and we get stuck in, well, that ain't me. Well, that ain't me. You know what I mean? And then we miss the very thing that we asked the universe to send to us. But anyway, the woman was torn with jealousy, resentment, and she said she hoped that he would suffer as he made her suffer. Then she added, "How could he leave me when I loved him so?" And Louise Hay replied, "You are not loving that man, you are hating him." And added, "You can never receive what you have never given. Give a perfect love and you will receive a perfect love. Perfect yourself on him. Give him a perfect, unselfish love, demanding nothing in return. Do not criticize or condemn, and bless him wherever he is." She replied, "No, I won't bless him. I know where he is," she said. And well, I said, "That's not real love. When you send out real love will return to you, either from this man or the equivalent. For if this person is not the divine selection, you will not want him, nor should you want something or somebody that is not your divine selection." And sometimes that's why we got women around here punishing the baby daddy because he went off and chose somebody else. I'm not saying you did, Tanya. No, I'm just staying right here in this circle. You feel me? Anyway, she goes on to say several months passed and matters remained about the same, but she was working conscientiously with herself. She said that she told her, when you're no longer disturbed by his cruelty, he will cease to be cruel as you are attracting it through your own emotions. Sometimes we don't have good for somebody else who's living in their passion. We don't doing their passion. There's a lot of that on the internet. A lot of people look into glass houses of others and saying, "I want that. Why don't I have that?" And then we wonder why we still can't attract and can't pull in the thing. We're doing the affirmations. You may even be tithing. You may be good to people. But if you have a lot of that ought in your heart for something, or sometimes we're too spread out and we're trying to do too much over here and burning the candle at both ends. And so it's okay to focus on one thing at a time. And sometimes that one thing, that passion you have to have, is for yourself. So I know that this is going to close out positively, because she said one day, she said suddenly, "God bless the Cap, wherever he may be." Remember, his name was Cap, the captain. And she finally got it in her spirit to say, "Bless him wherever he may be." So this is an opportunity for you in your private time, right where you are, to send some blessing to somebody that might have even, is a hater. That somebody who may have done you wrong, somebody who may not be seeing your worth or your value, something, some place. You could be still working on a job just right now, and you'll get into your mind and your mind's eye. Bless them wherever they are. I could tell you a story about working this very principle of love in order to shift a certain thing in my life. Y'all want me to tell you? I only tell you, and I'm gonna talk fast when I tell you so I can get these other readings in here. So anyway, when she did this, she finally reached out and said a miracle. One day she woke up and all her suffering had ceased. And then she got married. That's the long of that story, in short of that story. Okay. So do you want me to tell you this quick story of how I use this law for myself real quick? I said I opened with story time. It's no wonder it's coming up. Anybody want me to tell the story? Yes or no? Put I or yes or no. Hey, just let me know if you want me to get to the reading for somebody else. Okay, I get the hearts. Okay, so yes, you want me to tell the story? Yes. Okay, so let me tell you this story real quick. So I had a neighbor. I moved into this condo. I had bought my first condo. I forgot my water. I'm getting hot. I bought my first condo in Maryland, and I was so proud of myself. And I moved into my condo, and I had this neighbor from hell. Like, she wasn't even a Karen or anything. Like, I would walk on my floor because we had those old hardwood floors with squares, and they were beautiful, beautifully buffed, by the way. And so I would walk on my floor and it would creak a little bit, and she would take a broomstick or something and hit it, just terrorize me. And I was not used to that. Like, that was just like out of my natural living environment. And so she got to the point she just was do the weirdest stuff. And someone else who lived beneath her, some kind of way, I ended up talking to that neighbor, and they told me the way that she had terrorized them by stuffing the toilet and all of this stuff. And I was so troubled, but I said, wait a minute, LaTanya, you're a metaphysician. Wait a minute, LaTanya, work the law. And so I worked the law. I had seen her, so I had a picture of her face, and I began to hold in my mind's eye someone who was happy. She didn't look happy, but I held in my mind's eye that she was happy, that she was in love, that she didn't need to be in the house all the time, probably because she didn't want to be either. And I promise you, this went on heavy for a month. I mean, I had to write letters. I had to go. People had already written letters on her. But I didn't want to give my energy to that. Sometimes we give our energy and our passion to fighting against the thing instead of fighting for the thing, fighting for yourself, fighting for your peace, fighting for the outcome that you want. Some of us grew up having to be fighters, to protect, to defend. And so we never have turned it off, some of us as adult women. And the fighter energy, I don't care how you use it, it is still warrior energy. Whether you're using it a feminine warrior or masculine warrior. Most of us have known the masculine. In fact, I could tell you another story about that, just through the type of executives and clients that I work with who don't know how to fall into the soft place. And so I had to fall into the soft place. And the soft place was love, the energy of love, and seeing her having what she wanted. Y'all, I kid you not. It works when you work it. She started going on dates. He started taking her out. Baby, this takes us back to revival night number 2. When you get pleasure, you ain't got time to be hitting on nobody's wall from below or on anybody's ceiling from beneath and terrorizing people. So anyway, he was staying over. She was going out, and she ceased to be an issue for me. And I was able to live in peace. It works when you work it. This is why we have to prioritize this work in those of you who are magical, alchemical women, the ones who are called to be the interrupters, the disruptors. That's who I'm talking to. There are certain ones of you who are light workers, who are the ones who are shifting the narrative, and you deserve to know your passion, to experience passion outside of just pleasure, but in your contribution for why you are on the planet. Okay. Okay, so I saw Earth Mother. You chose 9, I believe. I want to confirm you chose 9. And I saw your question. And this is the last one, and I'm going to close on out tonight. Okay, so here we go. You chose 9. I saw your question. Now bring that energy with me as I go to the page. And your message tonight from the Game of Life and How to Play It is perfect self-expression or the divine design. There's a place that each woman is to feel, and no one else can feel. Something that she is to do that no one else can do. It is her destiny. This achievement is held a perfect idea in divine mind, awaiting each woman's recognition. As the imagining faculty is the creative faculty. Oh my goodness, this is confirmation of rest is resistance, because there's a whole chapter on imagining. or imagination. But we can't have imagination if we're not rested and replenished. We can't have it. So you get to redefine your purpose, your pleasure. And now tonight I'm saying define your passion. The achievement is held a perfect idea in divine mind, awaiting each woman's recognition. As the imagining faculty is the creative faculty, it is necessary for a woman to see the idea before it manifests. You hear that? See the idea before it manifests. So a woman's highest demand is for the divine design of her life. She may not have the faintest conception of what it is, for there it is, possibly some marvelous talent hidden deep within her. Avocation versus vocation. Sometimes when we're not rested, when we're not replenished, we do not have room to even know what's lying deep on the inside of us. You with me? Y'all with me? The perfect plan includes health, wealth, love, and perfect expression. This is the square of life, which brings perfect happiness. When one has made this demand, she may find great changes taking place in her life. Nearly every woman has wandered far from her divine design. In one woman's case, it was as though a cyclone had struck her affairs. But readjustments came quickly, and a new wonderful condition took the place of old ones. Perfect self-expression will never be labor, but of such absorbing interest that it will seem almost like play. The student knows also, since a woman comes in the world financed by God, the supply needed for her perfect self-expression will be at hand. I gotta stop. That's so good. I hope, did that serve you? Was that yummy? Did you get that? Earth Mother, did you get that, honey? Let me know. Confirmation. Okay. So I have still gone a little bit longer than I had intended to go. I really was gonna come in, drop it like it was hot, and get up out of here, honey. But listen, if you all want to connect with me, make sure you download the Rebirth 360 app to check out the replenish process, which is my gift to those who come into the app, come into community. I'm getting ready to go live for Overflow Jam session. I like being the spiritual DJ. And so I'm going into the tribe, play a few tunes, this call on some activation energy. And Lita, I'm going to give you your reading over in the tribe. But listen, if you want more of this, get ready, because I am doing a special session for a special price for the month of January. If you want to continue, you continue, but with me for the next session. But it's called the Queen's Piece, living the feminine abundance formula, the FAB formula. And so this is living the feminine abundance formula. It begins January 7th, January 8th. Timing is everything. This is perfect timing. If you want to jump in to this particular mastermind with us, come on in the room, hunty, because we're going to also look at how these alignment, this personal year 7, overlaps for you in some other areas of focus of you being called to create an inheritance for yourself and for others. So I love you all. There's nothing you can do about it. If you're not connected to me, you can always go to the link in my bio to find out how to get into the free tribe, how to download the free app on Rebirth 360 app. The link is also in my bio, or come on in, roll up your sleeves, and let's do this special session together. So I love you again. It's nothing you can do about it. If you're in the Rebirth Woman Tribe on Facebook, I'll meet you over there. Don't just meet me there, beat me there. I'm about to turn on the mix and the goods just so that we don't get censored here. And they tell me that they're not going to post my live. So I love you. Talk to you all later on the other side. Okay? Okay.